Welcome. This is Linda, and you're at Icky Chic Designs. Isn't that an interesting title for this video? Slow stitching, a real bridge over troubled times and troubled waters. You know, slow stitching, if you saw my previous video where I said I'm not slow stitching anymore, and which is true. I really don't do traditional slow stitching. I do what I call vision stitching, simply because I always have a design and purpose for what I'm doing. But sometimes I just need to slow stitch in its actual meaning. I just need to sit down and just stitch repetitively while I meditate and think and relax. And something I don't have a plan for, I don't have a vision for. I do find, though, that when I want to do that, to do a doodle drawing first on whatever I'm going to slow stitch helps me to do that. Helps me not to have to design and think in my head, but allows me just to follow the lines, more or less. And then my mind is better able to relax and think and meditate. So, and I find that slow stitching is a wonderful bridge over troubled waters. It gives us time to take a problem that we're dealing with, an issue, and just to sit and stitch and think about it and meditate on it, and to look at all the issues and sides and perspectives and just quietly mull it over. And don't we all need to do that sometimes? But it seems like when our hands are busy, our minds are more relaxed, and we can do that more freely. I also thought that some of these sessions we might talk about something specific that might be a troubled water, you might say, that might be bothering us, and something that we might could do about it. I can give you my thoughts here in the video, and you can always add yours in the comments, and for others to read too. Today, I'm just going to be slow stitching this little piece of doodle whatever. Don't ask me what it is, because I don't know. We'll just see. Because this satin frays so much, the first thing I'm going to do is just go and outline it so that I can stop that excessive fraying. I thought today we might take the issue of aging, something I'm very familiar with since I am 78 years old, and aging is a part of my life. Dealing with it with dignity and with a good attitude is what I strive to do. Aging is a challenge, like any other part of our life, any situations that challenge us. Aging is the same way. But you know, the alternative to aging isn't good. If we're not aging, then we've already been put in the grave or cremated, something. So we want to age. But the real issue is, can we age well? And you know me, I like to do my crafting, I like to do my stitching and designing, I like to do me well. And that same philosophy goes with aging. I want to do me well. Now, I'm one of those people, and this is just, again, let me say, these are my personal thoughts. They're not an ideology. They're not a life plan for somebody else. They're just my thoughts on this troubled water of aging. And I just wanted to share them with the community. And if anyone finds anything of value, wonderful. If they have a total different philosophy, wonderful. It's, believe me, I'm not a guru, I'm not a doctor, I'm just me, trying to do me well and get through the aging process well. But I'm one of those people that I choose to live under a rose-tinted cloud, you might say. And I say choose because I'm 78 years old, and I have learned that if I don't choose, life, circumstances, or other people will try to choose for me. So I have to choose, and I choose to live under a rose-colored cloud. Now, what do I mean by that rose-tinted cloud? It means to see the positive in things while not being oblivious to the negatives. In other words, as we age and we choose to live with a rosy mindset, we're not stupid, we're not blind. We're just choosing to set our minds in a direction that will make us happy. We're not oblivious. Believe me, when I get up in the morning and it's difficult to move sometimes, or the arthritis in my hands make it painful to stitch at times, all the different things that come with age, wearing glasses where I didn't used to have to wear glasses, those kind of things. But I choose to, again, wear or live under rose-colored clouds. Now, I should say rose-tinted, not rose-colored, because keeping our cloud tinted instead of heavily colored gives us the ability to keep the negatives of reality in mind while we're not letting it dominate our perspective. Look at the aging people around you. Don't most of them seem to drag a dark, rain-soaking cloud with them most of the time? Misery I am, and woe is me, define most of the attitudes of the older people that I know. And I see this a lot because I have peers, people, friends of mine in the same age group that live in assisted living facilities or in nursing homes. Just some of them are they just live under this very dark, rainy, angry cloud all the time. And they choose it because they could choose differently. But sad to say, it's the easiest choice. Choosing a rose-tinted cloud takes a lot of work. But think about what a waste of time and precious resources we do when we choose not to live with a positive mindset. So let's kind of just for a few minutes while we're slow stitching here, let's go where no one has gone before. Well, really, aging is a process common to most people. So why do I say it's a personal journey where no one but you has gone before? Because we're unique. Our life is different from any other life on this planet. And how we choose to live it is a path only we can travel. If our life is ours to do with what we want, then it's also our choice to tint our clouds any color we choose. But choose carefully, because the color of your cloud can and will affect your happiness, your success, your goals, your relationships, and your dreams. You might ask, well, okay, that all sounds really nice. But how do you color a rose-tinted cloud? Well, you may be a natural at tinting your clouds, or you may need a little help to mix the right shade of pink. Let me give you some perspectives that create beautiful rose-tinted clouds in my life. They may seem alien to some people, but, just bear with me. Keep on stitching. We're just meditating here. Mindful, thoughtful conversation. Your first stroke of pink is to change the unrealistic, boring, and tedious tasks that you have into your last best adventure. These last years are your last best chance to get that perspective right and cash in on all the happiness and the joy that might have passed you by in years before. So, aging may be your sci-fi mission to go where no one has gone before. Let's look at some specifics that I work on to color my cloud pink. Let's look at physical health problems. Now, right away, as we age, we have serious problems. And those we need to be take seriously. We need to get the help we need, seek the best medical advice we can, and do all we can to secure our own health. But none of us are going to be perfectly healthy, and we're not going to have perfect solutions. So, really, it's a fact. Aging comes with all sorts of physical health problems. We can't avoid them. I mean, you can't outrun them. You can't buy your way out of it. The best you can eat, the best you can exercise, the best you can do anything in life for your health problem, for your health generally, all that helps. But when it comes down to aging, it's all going to cause problems. The body is breaking down, and there's nothing that we can do to stop it. We can help it, but we can't stop it. It's sad to say that we'll have far more doctors than we want, and we'll undergo far more medical procedures than we ever expected to. But now let's tint all that pink. Think about this. I never thought I'd be increasing my vocabulary as I aged. Words like pulmonary embolism, chronic fatigue syndrome, hypertension. All of these have slipped into my daily conversation. Words that weren't in my vocabulary until I started aging. But the rosy side of that is I can better understand what my physician is saying because I'm learning to speak his language. Okay, let's find a little humor in this too. That's another way we put a little tint to our clouds. You know, enduring through health problems has helped me to clarify my priorities. It is amazing how much clearer one sees when faced with mortality. You know, it's not hard to choose between relationships and material possessions when nearing the end of one's life. And time suddenly becomes a treasure, and happiness a way of life you want now and not an eventual destination. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that a rosy pink tint to aging, that we finally come to the point where we can appreciate and value the real priorities in life? Another thing that darkens the cloud of aging for people is the isolation and the alone time. Oh, wow. For many who do not have a lot of good relationships, who do not have support groups, who do not have close family ties, there are a lot of lonely people. And they don't know what to do with their time. Aloneness is an enemy. So for some of us, aloneness comes, for instance, I can't do as much as I used to do. I can't go out with my friends as often. I don't have the energy level. I can't, vacationing is just out of the picture anymore. So, I mean, there's just a whole lot of things that cause me to have a lot more alone time, you might say, although my husband and I are very close, and so really I'm not alone in that sense, but what I'm saying is life isn't what it once was, and there aren't as many people involved in my day-to-day life because of aging. We just inevitably, we lose family, we lose friends due to distance or death. Our social connection dwindle. And this leads some to downright depression or feelings of total isolation. So now let's take that dark cloud and let's tint it pink. What can we do for our perspective and mindset that will change our cloud to pink? Okay, let's see. What could we think of? Well, for starters, I have hours and hours to spend on my stitching. I have hours now to work with this YouTube channel to make a whole new community of friends around the world that I would never have known in my busier, younger life. That's a real rose tint, don't you think? I can write. I love to write, and I love to write fiction. And I have more time now to build worlds and create fascinating characters and write the fiction stories that I love. I can meditate. I can research new things. I can learn because I have time to do so. I can armchair travel anywhere in the world. Think about, I use YouTube all the time for armchair traveling. All the places, I've been all over the world and back, sometimes in one night. But what a fascinating thing that I didn't have time to take advantage of when I was younger and busier. Really, being alone can open some wonderful doors and windows where we can experience, see, and walk through and just step over the threshold and do those things. The other night, I watched a little video on penguins, and these little penguins were all in a group, and they were all marching and marching and marching, and they were studying them and following them with, what do you call those, hover things that have cameras on it. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, they were able to do that and follow them, and they all marched to this great big cliff. Now, all the penguin videos I've ever saw, they jump off a little ledge of ice, maybe a foot or two high, but this ledge was 50 feet high. 50 feet, people. And these were all babies that had come their first time. Well, they were adolescents by now, but they'd never been to the ocean before. And this was their first thing. And they come to this 50-foot cliff. And you know what they did? They jumped off. Yeah, they jumped off one after another. They all were fine. They just swam away. But what an adventure. And that's kind of like aging. We feel like sometimes we come to this 50-foot cliff. Now what are we going to do? Well, just jump off. You might be surprised at how well you can swim. So really, what's the takeaway from this conversation? If I were to say, just in a few words, what that might be, it would be that there really is only two ways I choose to tint my clouds. We all have the same opportunity to choose a color. It can be black and stormy, or it can be pink or pastel. If we have our minds, we have the power to rethink, adjust, and go where no one has gone before. So get your colored threads out and start tinting your clouds pink with me. So what do you think? You may be young. You may be older than me. You may be middle-aged. What do you think about aging? How do you intend to age? Have you planned for it? It's going to come. If you're fortunate, it's going to come. Do you want to be happy during it, through it? Do you want to endure it, or do you want to enjoy it? Think about it just a little. And slow stitching is a perfect time to do that. Because there's no way that I can talk nonstop and design and think about what I'm doing at the same time. So I'm not that talented. So slow stitching is the opportunity for me to do that. My stitching is just mindful in the moment, and my mind is in gear. Okay, let's stop just a second here. And think about this slow stitch piece. I did get my border around, so I'm not afraid now that it will fray out on me, and I will use it. And I am using satin. I don't know if I told you that or not. And I kind of thinking that I'm going to couch threads. I love couching, and I love all my yarns. I'm thinking I'm going to follow those lines, couching threads. That's as mindful as just plain stitching. You're just couching over threads. I think that, yeah, I can do that and think too at the same time. And so let's see. I think I'll end this part here, and I'll come back in a little while, and we'll do some more stitching together, okay?